Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all into English online class. Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all into English online class. Today we are going to start the first chapter of Unit 1, and that is poem When I Heard the Learned Astronomer. This poem is written by the poet Walt Whitman. Okay students, so let's move on to the new slide and see what is the introduction of the poet. So students, you can see on the screen that Walt Whitman was a 19th century poet. He was born in 1819 and he died in 1892. Walt Whitman was a journalist, a teacher, and a government clerk. His famous book of poems is known as Leaves of Grass. Student, he wrote all different kinds of poetry. His poetry was satirical, funny, and okay. So he is also known as the father of free verse. Why is he called father of free verse? Because he was the first poet to introduce this concept of free verse. Now you must be wondering, what is free verse? So for understanding of this concept, let's see the point. When I heard the learned astronomer, students, you can see that this poem contains all irregular lines. This poem contains irregular lines. Some lines are shorter, some verses are shorter, while others are longer verse. Okay, and why it is called free verse? Because the lines are not ending in rhyming words. I've highlighted the ending words in purple hue, purple color, and you can see that ending words are not rhyming with each other. They don't have same sounds. Okay, see, all these 8 lines, all these 8 verses are not ending in rhyming words. The ending words are different. Okay, so this kind of poetry, this kind of poem is known as free verse. Also students, you can notice that the poem has total number of 8 lines, and such a poem is called octet because it has got 8 lines only. It's a short poem. Okay, now students, let's move on towards the paraphrasing of the poem. Okay, so you can see on the screen the first 4 lines or the first half of the poem. In the first 4 lines, the poet says, when I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room. Students, we can very well guess that the poet is sitting in a lecture room, and in the first 4 lines, he is listening to the lecture of a very learned astronomer. What is the meaning of learned? This highlighted word, learned means highly educated, well qualified. Okay, so learned is a contraction word. Why? Because there is an apostrophe and a letter E is missing here. So such kind of words are called contracted words. So learned means highly educated, and in the lecture room he is listening to the highly educated astronomer, and what that astronomer has to say, what that astronomer has to deliver, he is showing the audience proofs, the evidence, the proofs are evidences, proofs, the figures are numbers, and those figures, numbers are arranged in columns. The poet says that he is giving numerical data in arranged in columns. So the poet says, when I was shown the charts and diagrams, it means that The astronomer was well versed in what he was delivering, in what he was lecturing. He had also made charts and models and diagrams of the topic for which he was lecturing. And he had arranged the data in columns, and he had used operations of addition and division in order to measure his numerical data. So he was giving all kind of proofs to the audience, which showed that his lecture was authentic, real. So the poet in the ending fourth line says, "When I, sitting, heard the astronomer, where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room." In the last line, the poet says that he and the audience, they clapped for the learned astronomer because he lectured very well, he presented very well. And in the lecture room, there was the noise of clapping every now and then. Why? Because all people were impressed by this highly educated astronomer's lecture. So students, we will discuss the highlighted words meaning in the next slide. Look here. Learned means, student, I want to tell you that I will take your attendances at the end of the session, right? So you can now see on the screen, and you can note down in your copies. Be ready, note down in your copies. The first word is learned, highlighted word, and it means highly educated. These meanings are, student, very simple, and they will be easier for you to understand and learn. The second highlighted word is astronomer. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between astronomer and an astronaut? Yes, Fatma Mohammed, can you tell me? Okay, so you have raised the hand. Please tell me in the chat. Yes, everybody can write answer. Everybody is free to write answer in the chat. Okay, so Fatma Mohammed, what is the difference between astronomer and astronaut? Okay. Oh, so astronomer is the one who goes to space? No. Okay. What Junaid has written? Yes, yes. Junaid has given the correct answer. Astronomer is the scientist who studies stars. Very good. That's nice. So you can see on the screen also, astronomer is a scientist who studies about space and all the bodies, objects in space. He studies universe, and he is on Earth. And astronauts are the scientists who actually go into space for exploration, for observation, while astronomer sits on Earth and he observes the space through powerful devices and tools like telescopes. Okay, so astronomer is the scientist who sits on the Earth and observes the space, the sky, the universe, while astronaut actually goes into space and observes and explores. Okay, the next word is proofs. As I've told you earlier also, proofs mean evidences, subut. Next word is lectured. Lectured means to present something, presented. Okay, to teach something. Applause is clapping, to praise by clapping. Okay. Lecture room means meeting room or conference room. Okay, students, I hope you must have understood well the first four lines. Now let's move on to the last four lines of the poem. So you can see on the screen the last four lines, 5 to 8 lines. How soon, read after me. Students, read with me. How soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick. Till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical, moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. So these last four lines tell a different story, students. Why? Because now we feel that poet is no more in the lecture room, because See the fifth line, the starting line of the second half of the poem. How soon unaccountable I became tired and sick. Now the poet says that due to the lengthy lecture, the poet became tired and sick. Now the scene has changed. The poet has become tired and sick. Firstly, he was clapping along with the audience and he was very much impressed by the astronomer. But now he is feeling tired and sick of that lecture. Why? Because the lecture is dragging on and on and on, and in a same tone, in same tone. That's why he has become very bored of that lecture. And he says that how soon unaccountable. He says that he is unaccountable. Unaccountable means unanswerable. He don't have to explain himself to anybody because the audience are listening to the are busy listening to the lecture of the astronomer. So nobody can question him. Nobody. He has to give answer to nobody, because if he is tired and sick and if he has become bored, he is not accountable for his feelings to anybody. So what does the poet do then? He rises from his seat and glides out of the lecture room. I wandered off by myself. The poet says, I went out of the room. I wandered off. I walked out of the room, lecture room. And soon I found myself in the night air outside the lecture room. And the night was mystical. Now, why the poet is saying that the night is mystical? Because night is purely darkness, and darkness is linked with mysteriousness, mystery. So that's why he's saying the night is mystical, and the air in of the night is moist, it's wet. So what do you think, students? Do you think that moist air is cool? So everybody must be liking a moist air, because moist air is always cool. So the poet feels lighter now. He feels refreshed now in the moist air. And every now and then, when he was walking outside, he was looking up time to time. Every now and then, he was looking up again and again at the night sky, which was full of stars. But the audience of the stars, the starry audience, was silent, and he liked that company of stars because the silence gave him peace and calmness and tranquility, and his balance was restored. He felt himself at peace. Do you understand that? In the second half, he is in the company of stars, silent company of stars, peaceful company of stars at night. While in the lecture room in the first half, he was with the company of the astronomer and the audience. And that scene was very noisy and he didn't like noise, so he went out. Okay, students. So going towards the next slide to see the vocabulary meaning, the new vocabulary highlighted meaning. Okay. So look here, students. The first word is unaccountable, highlighted word. It means unanswerable, that you don't have to answer anybody for your acts or your feelings or your thoughts. Second word is gliding. Gliding means floating. Students first understand these words, then copy down in your note copies alongside the lecture. Gliding means floating in air without moving your limbs or wings. Haven't you seen any bird or eagle who just spread its wing and floats in air when it moves down? So that is called floating. So that is called gliding. Okay, flying and gliding are two different things. In flying, the living thing moves its wing, or an object move its parts when it is flying. But when it is gliding, the wings are spread, motionless, and it just floats in air. Okay. So the next word is wandered. Can anyone tell me the meaning of wandered? It is already written on the screen. Yes. Very good. Wandered means to walk aimlessly or walked aimlessly, right? And mystical means mysterious, strange. So students, we did the paraphrasing and the meaning, difficult word meaning of the poem. Now let's see the technical side of the poem, the, the poetic tools that poet has used in the poetry, in the poem. Okay, now let's see. So students, there is a concept of anaphora used in the poem. There is this concept of anaphora used in poem. And what does anaphora means? Please be attentive to this concept. It is a rhetorical or persuasive device. It is a tool. It is a device. It is a rhetorical means literary, poetic device. Rhetorical means a device which is used for persuasion, for conveying a thing. When we want to make someone agree with our conversation or agree with our ideas, then we use special special kind of we use special kind of vocabulary or communication. So anaphora is a special kind of device or a very powerful device, poetic device in literature. It is also used in poetry and prose also. Prose are what? Prose are stories and essays and all that, and poems are poetry. Okay, so anaphora is a device. It is a literary device used for persuasion, for conveying anybody. Okay, for convincing anybody. So it is a powerful device used in literature in English language, in which in language it is used. This device is used in language in which a word is repeated again and again to stress upon a particular idea. Do you understand that? Actually, if you see this word anaphora, students, the starting part of the word anaphora, ana means to do something again and again. Ana means doing again and again or ahead of something. Ana means ahead of something or doing again and again. So according to the name, a word is repeated again and again in a poem or prose, story, essay, anything is repeated again and again in order to stress upon a special idea. When the poet or the author wants to stress upon anything, so it uses a word again and again in order to capture the mind of the audience or the reader. You get my point? Look here in the examples given below. The first example, read the first example. Every day, every night, in every way, I am getting better and better. So you understand how the word every is repeated again and again. So this is what is every here? Every is anaphora. Why? Because it is being repeated again and again. And why it is being repeated again and again? Because the work is being done repetitively. The work is being done repetitively. That's why the poet or the author has used this word again and again to give the reader the idea that every day the work is being repeated again and again. I want my money right now, right here, all right. In this example also, you can see the highlighted word right, which is anaphora, and it is being repeated again and again. Why? Because here the stress is that the person wants his money in at every cost, now or never. This is the condition. That's why he has used the word right again and again to stress upon the urgency of getting money. Do you get my point? Okay, students. Moving on to the next slide, I have an activity for you. Can any one of you pick out anaphora, repetitive word from the first 4 lines of the poem? Okay, I'm bringing the first 4 lines in front of you on the screen, and you tell me, where can you find anaphora in these 4 lines? Where can you find a repetitive word in the first 4 lines? Okay, can anyone tell me? Yes, Musab, you raise your hand. Okay, tell me, where is anaphora here in these 4 lines? Can you find out any repetitive word? Read the poem carefully. Read the 4 lines carefully. Okay. Very good, very good, very good. Musab, Dureshawar, excellent. Suhaib, very nice. Yes, this, when is the anaphora, students? When is the anaphora? Very good, very good, very nice. Why? Because when is being repeated again and again. You can see here. So you have very well understood what anaphora is. Anaphora can be used in poetry and in poems, essays, prose also. And what is anaphora? It is a repetition of a word in order to give a special idea, in order to stress upon special idea. Okay. So when is the anaphora in these 4 lines? Very good. You have understood it well. Now, student, there is another concept given in this poem discussed here, and let's move on to the new slide, and you can see on the screen of your screen, there is another concept called alliteration. This alliteration is also used in poems and prose also, all kinds of writings. Alliteration is also used in all kinds of writings, in poetry and in prose also. And what is alliteration? Alliteration is also like anaphora. Anaphora was a word which was being repeated again and again. But what is alliteration? Alliteration is also a rhetorical device. It is also used for convincing something. Okay, to make the reader agree on something. So it's a convincing device. It's a rhetorical device used in literature, in which is used, this alliteration is used to get some special rhythmic or sound effects. In order to give special sound effects in a poem or prose, alliteration is used. This concept is different than anaphora, because in anaphora, a word is being repeated again and again. But over here in alliteration, students, a sound effect is repeated again and again. A rhythm is repeated, a rhythmic effect is given again and again in poem or prose. How? It is a repetition of same alphabet or sound of many words in a in line of a poem. Okay, so now you have you must understand that it is the repetition of same alphabet in many words in the line of a poem. When we take up any line of a poem and it has got more than one word starting with same alphabets, then this kind of situation is called alliteration. You will well understand it by looking at examples. Look here. This is a line from a poem, beside the lake, beneath the trees. So students, you can very well see that beside and beneath are the two words in which same alphabets are used at the start. So these two words are what? Alliteration. So here alliteration is used. Why? Because the two words are starting with the same sound, with the same alphabet, with the sound of B. Okay, that's why these two words are called alliteration. Now look, another example below it. Go and gather the green grass on the go and gather the green leaves on the grass. This is another line from the poem. Okay, you can very well see that there are more than one word which are starting with same letter G in a single line of the poem. So what that letter is? The letter is G. In go, you can find it. In gather, you can find the same letter. Green is starting with same letter, and grass is also starting with G. It means that alliteration is very nicely used in this line because so many words are starting with the same alphabets with the same sound of G. Okay. Now, can you tell me, Mars, what is alliteration? Yes, write in the chat, please. Very good. Aisha, nice. You have written very well. Alliteration are words in the line of a poem which start with same sound. Good. Very nice. Very good. Very wholesome definition. Very nice. Okay, students. So I have an activity for you for this concept also. Moving on to next slide. These are the last lines, last 4 lines of the poem. And please find out, where is alliteration? Can you find any alliteration example over here? Read each line carefully. Can you find any alphabet which is being repeated again and again? Can you find it? Anybody? Yes, Waleed. Very good. Waleed has found out. Mystical and moist. Can you see? Mystical and moist both are starting with letter M. The sound of M is being repeated. So mystical and moist both are examples of alliteration. Okay. Any other example? Yes, there is another example, students. Look here on the screen. Watch carefully. Time to time. Can you see it? Time to time. So students, time to time, all these 3 words are starting with the letter T. So they are starting with the same sound of T. So there are 2 different examples of alliteration in a single line. Any other example can you find? Yes. Looked up in perfect silence at the stars. Yes, again we can find 2 words in the last line which are starting with the same sound S. Silence starting with S and stars also starting with the S letter. Very good. So students, you have understood very well that alliteration are the words in a line of a poem which are starting with same alphabets or same sound. Very good, student. So we picked up the alliteration, okay? So students, there is a home task for you for today, and that is you have to make sentences of the vocabulary of this poem in your note copy, okay? And do show me your work in WhatsApp, right? So students, we end our session over here, and in the next class we are going to study the grammar topic of this unit, and I end this class over here. Inshallah, we will meet at same timing and same place. Allah Hafiz.